Hi, welcome everyone. I am Dr. Rajkumar from School of Physics and Material Science, Thapar Institute of Engineering and Technology, Patiala. This is the video regarding root finding methods for algebraic and transcendental equations, part 1. So in this video, the topics which are to be covered are brief introduction to the topic, then bisection method, and then convergence of a sequence of a method. So to begin with, we have algebraic equation. It is a polynomial of the form fx is equal to a naught x raised to power n, a1 x raised to power n minus 1 plus so on an minus 1 x plus an, where a0 should not be equal to 0. These ai's, they are the constants, and n is a positive integer, is called polynomial in x of order n. So this is nth order polynomial. If it is nth order polynomial, it has n roots, n different roots. Like for example, we have a quadratic equation, it is of second order, it has two roots, maybe different or same, real or imaginary. So the equation fx is equal to 0, if we put above equation is equal to 0, this is called algebraic equation of degree n. Now what about the transcendental equation? If the equation of the form fx is equal to 0 contains functions such as trigonometric like sine, cosine, tangent, logarithmic, exponential, etc., then this equation fx is equal to 0, which contains these functions, is called a transcendental equation. It may have finite or it may have infinite number of roots, or may not have any real root. For example, x e raised to power x minus 1 is equal to 0. This is the kind of equation, or 2x is equal to cos x plus 5, etc. Now in general, there are two types of method of finding the solution of a equation, algebraic or transcendental. So method of finding solutions, two categories, direct method and indirect method. So indirect method, this first one, we have finite number of steps used to find the root. Okay, like we have a quadratic equation, and direct method is of finding the roots. Root is equal to minus b plus minus b square minus 4ac square root divided by 2a. So this is a direct method of finding solution of a quadratic equation. Now sometimes it is not possible to calculate or to find the root using these direct method. Then we have iterative methods, and they are based on successive approximations. You have a certain root of that equation, you keep on iterating, you keep on doing the calculation and approaching the root with every iteration. So this is a kind of successive approximation to the root. So we have iterative methods. In our syllabus we have a bisection method, false position method, secant method, and Newton-Raphson method. So to begin with, we have a bisection method. As it is clear from the name as well, bisection method, it has to do with the bisection. So you have to bisect the interval, okay, in order to find the root. So let's begin it with. So it is root finding method for any continuous function for which one knows two values with opposite sign. So prerequisite is that function should be continuous in nature. It should not have singularities in between the interval. So there should not be zigzag structure of the function within that interval, and one knows two values with opposite sign. Suppose we have an interval a and b, so we must know two values in between this interval of the function, such that the function might have a positive value at certain point in the interval and might have another negative point at other point in this same interval. So function must cross, or the curve of the function must cross x-axis at certain place in between the interval a and b. So repeatedly bisect the interval defined by these values. All right, as already explained, clear from the name as well. Then select the subinterval in which function changes sign. Okay, so we'll discuss in detail, and it is a relatively slow method, since you are bisecting the interval, and it is a kind of slow method as compared to the other methods. So let us discuss about what are the inputs of this bisection method. So we have a x and y axis. At x axis we have x coordinate, and y we have y is equal to x. Fx is a function. So we have given with the interval a and b a continuous function f, an interval a and b, and the function values fa and fb. So these are given. Now fa is having a positive value, as clear from the figure. Fb has negative value, okay, such that now this positive and negative, if they join with each other through function fx, they must have 0 at this red dot. It is called root of this function fx. The function values are of opposite sign, so there is at least 1 0 crossing within the interval. There might be more than 1 0, but minimum there should be 1 0 in between the interval at which fa and fb have opposite sign. So as is clear from this figure as well, you have a bigger interval a and b, I denote it as a1 and b1 for first iteration. Then you keep on bisecting, so your interval is represented by this bracket, curly bracket, so it keep on shrinking, keep on reducing on each bisection. All right, depending upon whether the value of function at the central point is positive or negative, you can reduce either the left point of the interval or right point or right part of the interval. So next is procedure of finding the root using this method. So the same figure I have repeated. So first calculate C. What is C? C is the midpoint of the interval, that is a plus b by 2. So you have to calculate C, middle point, then calculate the function value at the middle point, that is f at a point C, f at C. Okay. Now next point is, if convergence is satisfactory, how you can say that we have calculated the root, or we have arrived to the root successfully. How we can judge? So first, if convergence is satisfactory, what are the conditions? That is, if either C minus A, or you can also say C minus B, is sufficiently small. Okay, so difference between the two roots or the middle point with respect to left or right point, it is very small, so sufficiently small. Or second condition is, if FC is sufficiently small, FC, absolute value FC, either in negative side or positive side, or below the x-axis or above the x-axis, FC small means the function has a 0 at this point C. So then you have to stop the iteration, return C and stop the iteration. Okay. Otherwise, what you have to do, else examine the sign of function fc and replace either a fa. Okay, so you have to replace either c replace fa with fc, that is replace point a with c, or replace point b with c and fb with fc, so that there is a 0 crossing. All right, so what we done, we have two extreme points in the interval a and b. We calculated the value of function fa and fb. Sometimes they are given as well. So then the condition is the product of fa function at a and fb function at b, their product must be negative. Okay, it is the condition that the two functions must should have the opposite sign. Only then their product will be negative. So then we bisect the interval, we calculated the middle point C, and we calculated the value of function at the middle point C. Then we have to reduce either left side or right side. A is a value at which function is positive and B is a value at which function is negative. Now suppose that value of Fc is negative. Okay, so what we'll do, if fc is negative, so you have to replace b with c. So b की जगह आपको c put करना है. Then your bigger bracket, this curly bracket, will reduce to this one. So this is the central point of first interval. Now your extreme point of right hand side becomes at this center point. So you have bigger interval now reduces to half. Okay, so now let us consider an example for understanding this method. Iteration process will explain by finding the root of polynomial fx is equal to x cube minus x minus 2. So this is the polynomial we have given with no interval is given. So we have to choose interval by our own, by our wisdom. So let us start with find the two numbers a and b, because we need the interval. So we have to find the two numbers a and b so that value of function at these 2 points have opposite sign. So fa multiplied by fb should be negative. We have to find such points a and b. And in this example, let us consider a is equal to 1 and b is equal to 2. So we considered it. A is equal to 1 and b is equal to 2 are the initial values of the interval. Now let us check whether f1, which is 1 cube minus 1 minus 2 is equal to minus 2. So we have substituted x is equal to 1 here. So f1, f at a comes out to be negative. Okay. Then again we calculate f at 2, because the other point is 2. So it becomes 2 cube minus 2 is equal to plus 4. So now let us see what is the sign of function at a and at b. So f at a is equal to 1 is negative and f at b is equal to 2 is positive. So our condition is satisfied. The product of two function is negative. So at least minimum there should be a 1 0 in between the interval 1 and 2. Also the function is continuous. Okay, so there is no singularity in between the interval 1 and 2. So one of the root lies in the interval for sure. In first iteration, the endpoints of the interval, which brackets the root, are a1 is equal to 1 and b1 is equal to 2. So now we given the notation to the interval. So the middle point is, for first iteration it is c1, middle point is 1 plus 2 divided by 2, it is 1.5. Now we check whether 1.5 difference of 1 and 1.5 or 2 and 1.5, it is within the limit or less than the limit of accuracy we have provided with. Since in this question we have not provided with the any such kind of limit, so we move on to the next step, second iteration. So now first we check the value of function at this middle point. It comes out to be minus 0.125, which is a negative. So which value of from a and b to be replaced with c1 is equal to 1.5? f1 has negative value. So we have to reduce or bisect the interval from a is equal to 1 to a is equal to 1.5 now. New value of a becomes 1.5 because it is negative and it is also negative. If you replace 2 with 1.5, then the new value, the product of two functions, first one at a function at 1 is negative, and also the new value of b at that also the function is negative. So it should not have, or it will not have any 0 in between these two. So we have to replace negative value of function with the negative value. So a should be replaced, or a1 should be replaced by c1 in this case. Since fc1 is negative, so a equal to 1 is replaced by a equal to 1.5 for second iteration, such that fa multiplied by fb has opposite sign, less than 0, obviously. So with increasing iteration, the interval between a and b will become increasingly smaller and converge onto root of the function. So earlier you have interval 1, 2, all right. In second iteration, you have new interval 1.5 comma 2, which is 1/2 of the initial interval. So with every iteration, your interval size keep on reducing to 1/2, and finally in the end you will converge to the root. So let us consider the table of iteration. We have considered first iteration, and we have checked the value of function at that middle point. Now if we keep on, this is first iteration, if we keep on iterating, then we have discussed the result now in table of iteration. So this table of iteration means first column represents first iteration, then second, third, so on. A n, B n, they represents the value of A and B at first iteration, second iteration, so on. And Cn is middle point of first interval, then first iteration, then second iteration, third iteration, and corresponding Fc is value of function. So we are clear that value of function at A was negative and B was positive in this example, in first iteration. So middle point was 1.5 and value of the function at this middle point was negative. So we have to replace this 1 with the 1.5. So now new value of A becomes 1.5 and B is as it is. So in the second iteration, we calculate the value of C 1.5, middle point of this 2 points, this interval 1.5 and 2. So it is 1.75. Now the function value is positive. So which one is to replace? Now B should be replaced. So this 2 should be replaced by 1.75 because B value of function at B is positive and value of function at C at second iteration is positive. So this 1.5 takes the place of 2. So in third iteration, 1.5 is as it is and 2 is replaced by 1.75. So 1.5 and 1.75, these are the two new values of the interval, new interval. Again, the middle point of these 2 points is 1.625, value of function is positive. So we keep on iterating like this, and in this iteration table, we have shown up to 15 iterations. So at what iteration we have to stop? So where to stop? It depends on the two conditions we have already discussed. Either the difference of the middle point with the any of the value of an or bn, at any iteration, it is less than the required accuracy. For example, we need a root which is correct up to third decimal place. So our accuracy is like an minus cn absolute value or bn minus cn should be less than or equal to 10 raised to the power minus 3 or 0.001. All right. So first one is this, or the value of second one is function should reduce to 0 up to third decimal place. Okay. So we see here in the last column the value of function, it is non-zero, significant, it has significant digit as well, but as we keep on iterating, we see the value of function approaches to 0 approximately. So where to stop? Also we have third condition, that if the root keeps on repeating up to a certain decimal place. For example, here we see that 1.5209. Okay, so this was the root at 11th iteration. Then at 12th iteration we have 1.521 up to third decimal place. We are looking the solution up to third decimal place. Then on 30th iteration it is 1.521 again. At fourth decimal place they might have different value, but where to stop depends on how much accuracy we require. At 14th similarly the value is 1.521 and at 15th as well it is 1.521. So if root is repeating itself consecutively, then up to certain decimal place, then you have to stop. That was your root. Okay. So after 13 iterations, it become apparent that there is convergence to 1.521. So this is our root. And now let us do certain analysis depending upon this. This method is guaranteed to converge to a root of f if f is a continuous function on the interval a and b. If it is discontinuous, there is no guarantee of the root. And fa and fb have opposite sign, we have already discussed this. The absolute error is halved at each step so that method converges linearly. So there is linear conversion of this method. Now we've discussed about convergence. Then in brief I'll discuss about the convergence of bisection method, specifically if C1 is equal to a plus b by 2, middle point is the midpoint of the initial interval, and Cn is the midpoint of interval in nth step at nth iteration, for example. Then the difference between Cn and a solution C is bounded by, if C is the root and C1 is the first iteration and Cn is at root at second and nth iteration, then C is bounded by absolute value of difference of Cn and C is equal to absolute value of b minus a divided by 2 raised to power n. So this is the convergence formula for bisection method. This formula can be used to determine in advance the number of iterations that the bisection method would need to converge to a root to a certain tolerance. So the accuracy, it is sometimes is also known as tolerance in programming language. So what is the convergence of a sequence? Let us describe in a brief definition of the convergence. A sequence xn, a sequence of x, of successive approximations of root x is equal to alpha. For example, we have root alpha of the polynomial of the equation fx is equal to 0 is said to converge to x is equal to alpha with order m. M is the order of the convergence, which is greater than or equal to 1, if and only if absolute value of difference of x n plus 1 minus alpha less than or equal to c absolute value of xn minus alpha difference raised to power m, such that n is greater than or equal to and c is a positive number. So this is the condition for convergence. The symbols have their usual meaning, we have already explained. This c is a positive constant, and particularly if m is equal to 1 and c lies in between 0 and 1, then the convergence is said to be of first order or linear. In this case, constant c is called rate of linear convergence. So convergence is rapid or slow according as c is near 0 or c is close to 1. The condition for linear convergence is, since bisection method has linear convergence, so condition for linear convergence is absolute value of difference of xn and alpha, xn is the root at nth iteration and alpha is the actual root, is less than equal to c raised to power n absolute value of difference of x0 minus alpha, where n is greater than equal to 0 and c lies in between 0 and 1. Okay, so this is the condition for linear convergence. Now if we denote that error at nth iteration, what is error at 10th iteration? It is the value of root at nth iteration minus the actual root. So this is the error at nth iteration en, and if error at n plus 1 iteration, that is xn plus 1 minus alpha, so value of root at n plus 1th iteration with respect to alpha, the error is denoted by en plus 1, then the above equation 1 simply reduces to absolute value of en plus 1 divided by absolute value of en raised to power m should be less than or equal to c. Okay, so this is the condition for linear convergence, and m is the order of convergence. So in this video we have discussed about the algebraic equation, the transcendental equations, root finding method, which has a category of direct method and iterative method, and particularly we have iterative method of bisection, false position, secant and Newton-Raphson. And in this video particularly we have discussed in detail about the bisection method, its input, its procedure, and with the help of a simple example and iterative table we explained the bisection method. Then further we have discussed about the convergence of bisection method and convergence of a sequence. So this is the first part of root finding methods. In next video we'll discuss about the root finding method using false position method, secant method and Newton-Raphson method and their relative convergence as well. So thank you for watching this video.